Today's next video is on Pantheist and Deist books. In the next series of books for truth seekers and those along their own paths. Anyway, this next book for within Pantheism and Deism I like to present is Nature's God by Matthew Stewart, The Heretical Origins of the American Republic. It's more where America's founding fathers, even those be a few deists, I'm sure, before the founding fathers, they were influenced by the great Enlightenment thinkers, like Voltaire, for example, heavily on Spinoza's pantheism, Giordano Bruno, the well-known pantheistic or pandeistic thinker of his time, and it goes into deism's philosophy of nature's God. And it's a good book for those wanting to know heretical origins of the American Republic, or the heretical origins of America. So, next book, The Courtier and the Heretic, Leibniz, Spinoza, and the Fate of God. Again, by Matthew Stewart. It's a good book for those wanting to have a investigation into an interesting debate between pantheism and theism. Pantheism is from previous videos, all is God. But when I mean all, it's usually nature, the universe, all existence. Now, the main purpose of the book, though, it's a book between Leibniz and Spinoza, well-known philosophers that debated and had a love-hate relationship. No, they weren't gay, but but they had an interesting philosophical debate on their own philosophies. Although I always consider Leibniz was a hypocrite because he didn't want to have an acknowledgement that he met Spinoza when he actually did. Reason why he met Spinoza was because he wanted to know his metaphysics, where he came to know Spinoza from a criticism of his religious views on religion. Anyway, but Spinoza and Leibniz, even before them, Descartes, were rationalistic philosophers. But it's a good book for those wanting to read on a good debate and a good history of the philosophers that lived at the time. Next book. It's kind of an atheistic one, might influence some pantheistic thought, but it's Lucretius is The Nature of Things. It's a good book. Lucretius was a very ancient philosopher, or his book is a poetic take on his philosophy with it, which I would consider to even a scientist to read, or a suggestion, because there are certain things of the laws of thermodynamics being referenced into this book that really makes you wonder if he actually knew a lot of the natural world at the time. When you go to laws of thermodynamics, you have the first law, which is the energy is neither destroyed nor created. It's just recycles, takes on different forms. Entropy is the breakdown of energy turning into different forms. I mean, breaking down different forms. The next book is the Meditations by Marcus Aurelius. Good book. It's a simple book for those wanting to read anything in philosophy. It's how Marcus Aurelius, the well-known Roman emperor of his time, dealt with life as an emperor of Rome. Even the stresses of dealing with an empire, he has lots of interesting philosophies in there that anybody could take within their own lives, even to being a Stoic. There's a lot of great influences in it. Influences in it that Marcus Aurelius had, and he could even pass it on to you even through his own ancient writings. In his Stoicism, he accepted the natural world. He accepted the natural world as it is. He may reference nature as God once in a while, but he references everything as connected as a whole, as one great supreme living organism. He acknowledges as the universe, or the cosmos, as he would put it as. By the way, those are his pantheistic views, but they're very contemplative when he wrote them at the time. It's more of his work of Stoicism. Next book, Giordano Bruno's The Universe, Other Worlds, and the Infinite. Giordano Bruno was a very excellent monk. Ex-monk, actually, my mistake. He was a Dominican monk that left the Dominican order because of his heretical views. That he discovered from his own influences, from like Lucretius, this is the book that nature things, that he became inspired by the infinity of the universe, knowing that God lived within the universe, if that's what he believed. But he had a pantheistic view of that. He believed in the infinity of the universe. He saw atoms as a part of it. He saw a power of things that were beyond his imagination, that were of the universe. He came to realize that the religion of the time, mostly Catholicism, or Roman Catholicism, or the Roman Church, became more problematic within its own way, that it didn't accept Giordano Bruno's view was that he was burned to the stake in the Inquisition. That Bruno knew more than what the Catholic Church was saying, and the Church relied more on its bullshit dogma. Anyway, next book. One person that was influenced by Giordano Bruno, but also had different influences like the Stoics, even Giordano Bruno. I know I said that 2 times. He had a knowledge of God that was before his time, but well-known pantheistic thinker, even before the word pantheist was coined by John Courtier in the 18th century. We have Spinoza's Ethics. Spinoza was a well-known philosopher, like I said before, with the second book some time ago. Anyway, Spinoza was a well-known philosopher and a rationalist, but he believed strongly in the universe and nature being God. he wrote a whole lot of his knowledge in the ethics on God, the mind. He was a monist. He believed in mind and body as one substance. He disagreed strongly with Descartes' body-mind problem, which was in Cartesian dualism. I can mention that Descartes another video, another time, but anyway. Spinoza, he wrote also on what it means to being human, between the affections and human freedom, such as intellect and so on and so forth. Even he may have influenced the determinism argument, free will versus determinism. Well, I don't know where I am with that, but Spinoza, he influenced that argument in a way. It's a good book, but it's a geometrical viewpoint from what Spinoza has, meaning the book is a geometry book mixed with his own philosophies. So it's half geometry, half philosophy. It's a good book for those really wanting to find something a little challenging, but it gives a basic idea, though. Unlike Immanuel Kant's Critique of Pure Reason, which is really challengeable, but look for another time. Anyway, the Transcendentalist author from the 19th century, Ralph Waldo Emerson. He was Ralph Waldo Emerson was really influenced by the natural world. He had a belief of the unity between God, the soul, and nature, and he influenced the Transcendentalist movement. He was influenced as a pantheistic thinker of his time, but he called it Transcendentalism, which was also the influences towards, what was his name? Walden. Henry David Thoreau. He was friends with Henry David Thoreau, and Henry David Thoreau was a friend of Ralph Waldo Emerson. That he began to have similar views as Emerson. Anyway, this book is a collection of his essays, The Spiritual Emerson. A lot of the Transcendentalists' views have influences deeper from Hinduism, of the Brahmanatman, which is the universal soul and ultimate reality, and plenty of other great influences. Next book. It's not a book by Alan Watts, but it's about Alan Watts. To those who are Alan Watts admirers, The Pantheism of Alan Watts by David K. Clark. It's a book about Alan Watts, his pantheistic views between Eastern ways of thinking about God again, in the universe, the ultimate reality, so on and so forth. Good book for those really wanting to know about Alan Watts' views from a different author's viewpoint, I think. Anyway, good book on pantheism. Anybody that's interested in learning about pantheism, or when you have a deeper view of the universe, you have The Elements of Pantheism by Paul Harrison. Good book for those wanting to know about pantheism and a scientific view of it. It's it introduces you from a scientific view as well as a historical view and including philosophical view. Paul Harrison is pantheistic environmentalist, and he wrote a good book that's introduced me to pantheism a little bit farther, but my dad had the book then and influenced me to read the book. Anyway, he brings up the historical aspect of pantheism into science and philosophy. There's some references of religion thought are in it, and if you're taking a look at the history part of it, but good book. Then we have a mixture of pantheism and deism in all one book. You have Pandeism and an anthology by Knujon Mapson. Or edited. It's more of an anthology of essays written by many people interested with the book, with making the book, that pantheism, I may have mentioned in one video, is a philosophy that believes that God was a universal being that became the universe as by the laws of thermodynamics, such as the energies of God became the universe or became this existence. Although my own philosophy is that pandeism is the mind of God that's conscious and unconscious, meaning it's not fully awakened, but through the conscious beings it's awakened. I don't mean to get woo on everything like that. It just, meaning language-wise, it's just how I view pandeism on the mind of God, by the way. But that's what pandeism is. It's a philosophy that God became the universe. It has a scientific view to it as well as a bigger philosophy part to it. One of my friends' writings are in the book. Ortiz, actually, one of his writings are on it. Though his pantheistic view, one of those two, is more of his own version of biopantheism. He has his own page and on Facebook on it, and he has his own web page of biopantheism. But that's his own version. Anyway, back to my books. Good book. Interested in learning both pantheism and deism and a mixtured philosophy of pandeism. Anyway, on two books on deism. Which one is more of a critical view of religion, where God gave us religion, and God gives reason, not religion, by Bob Johnson. It's a critical view of the whole Bible, like the Age of Reason is. Bob Johnson is a deist. He wrote another book I'll show you later, which was the first book, by the way. This one's the second one. It's his critical view of the Bible, including the three religions, Christianity, Islam, and Judaism, and he has more of a, let me check here quickly, be sure. It has an introduction, it has it's basically his views on religion, pantheism. Mentioned some things about pantheism in there and panentheism, but I'm not going to go into it that much in this video. Anyway, Deism, begun by Bob Johnson. A revolution in you, a revolution in religion. He introduces Deism from his influences such as Thomas Paine and a couple others that he wrote a very excellent book. And he gave us his basic belief that God gave us reason, not religion. But the book is he talks about atheism, agnosticism. Some of his books he considers Giordano Bruno as a deist, not pantheist, but he also has more of a free-thinking thought where he clearly states that the United States was not founded on a Christian religion. On Christianity, it was founded on influences of the Enlightenment thinkers. There's the influence of founding fathers. And that's what it was originally based on. Deists like the founding fathers, like Thomas Paine, George Washington, John Adams, Benjamin Franklin, the whole bunch of them. Now, next book. From a well-known friend of mine. His name is Guyus Seralius. He has his own channel. Even does Paul Fortes, by the way. Guyus Seralius has a book, The Forever All, a philosophical and spiritual guide. It's his own pantheistic take. I've read it. It's good. The main message from the book is learning balance. The balance of the universe, everything. It's his own view to things. Between permanence and impermanence, meaning change or non-change. And you have his story of how he became pantheistic, or how he came to his views as a pantheist. Even he has videos on his own YouTube channel that has that. What else is there I can quickly have to say? He has pretty much a good view on having balance within everything. Very good book. Anyway, good book. Anyway, those are the books I would suggest to you. If I'm running out of words or anything in my videos, it's because my mind's racing. Anyway, have a good day, everyone. Hope you enjoy my video. Have a good day. Bye.